The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune.
What happens when the emerging queen of the court receives a $27 million bombshell from one of the greatest basketball legends? An unforgettable reaction, chaos, and cheers. LeBron James shocked Caitlin Clark with a huge Nike agreement that created a historic headline in an instant nobody could have predicted. Her remark was genuine, unvarnished, and priceless. This goes beyond a simple contract. It is a pivotal moment in culture. You're going to see more than a surprise, so fasten your seatbelt. It's the creation of a legend. Everyone is shocked by LeBron's $27 million gift for Caitlin Clark. Even while the audience was already excited, nobody could have guessed what would happen when LeBron James and Caitlin Clark on the floor. LeBron did more than simply shake Caitlin's hand or give her a slap on the back in a daring and unexpected moment. He made a statement that momentarily halted time. Caitlin Clark was offered an astounding $27 million contract by Nike. The audience went crazy, and Caitlin's response said it all. Her eyes began to brim up with tears. Her jaw fell open. The wave of emotions that hit her at once was almost visible. Disbelief, appreciation, and shock. This was more than a contract. It served as confirmation. "You are more than worth it," is a strong, loud statement from one of the top businesses in the world. Money wasn't the only issue at hand. It was about everything that had led Caitlin to this point. Caitlin Clark made a name for herself that no one could ignore, from her early days playing on the driveway hoop in Iowa to her thrilling performances with the Hawkeyes. Her famed three-point shooting ability and unparalleled court vision are unparalleled. She not only won game after game, but she also changed the rules. Not only did basketball fans take note, though. Caitlin rose to prominence in society. She attracted more spectators to stadia than certain NBA teams. Every time she on the court, her ESPN ratings skyrocketed. What was the date of her 2024 WNBA draft declaration? It was like to seeing a blockbuster movie's conclusion. She ended up with the Indiana Fever, as everyone had predicted. However, the actual storm came next. Big shoe companies were prepared to do everything it took to sign her. Puma, Under Armour, Adidas, and Nike. Every brand saw the same thing. Caitlin was more than a rising celebrity. She represented women's basketball's future. And she would be more than just an athlete to whoever caught her. They would receive an icon. Under Armour allegedly made a generous offer of $16 million spread over 4 years, including the promise of a trademark sneaker. Adidas responded with a prototype pitch and $6 million. Puma spent some time playing the game, but as the numbers continued to rise, they were unable to stay up. Not only was the competition fierce, but it was also historic. The agreement that put an end to the commotion followed. Nike moved quickly to seal the deal with an 8-year, $27 million offer. It also had a distinctive shoe line, which is a unique distinction in women's sports. Paying her wasn't the only thing. It was about having faith in her. LeBron entered the picture at this point. His endorsement gave the announcement a deeper meaning as a living legend and worldwide Nike ambassador. It was legacy, not just business. A contract signing became a passing of the torch in his presence. Speaking of legacies, this agreement is reminiscent of Michael Jordan's historic 1984 Nike contract. MJ received a portion of the empire in addition to money from that sale. Jordan became a commercial partner in addition to a brand ambassador thanks to the royalties on each pair of Air Jordans. Despite being enormous, Clark's contract excludes royalties, unlike Jordan's. And sources at Sneaker World took issue with it. The same former Nike executive who assisted in Jordan's signing, Sonny Vaccaro, praised Caitlin's ascent but expressed dissatisfaction with Nike's organizational structure. Caitlin had earned more than a payment, he said. She had previously demonstrated her ability to shift numbers, therefore she had earned a partnership and ownership. Caitlin, however, remained unflinching. Contracts and conditions have nothing to do with that radiant grin or that emotional response. It was about having a platform, being respected and being noticed. Her game was created from the ground up. This was more than a sporting transaction. It was a change in culture. Caitlin's moment told young girls playing basketballs in their driveways, it's possible. The focus abruptly changed once more. Not to her past, but to her future. The deal's effects are just now starting to become apparent. Could this, however, completely change our understanding of women's sports marketing? Keep an eye out. Caitlin Clark just rewired the system, which is more than a bargain. The sports world was shocked to learn about Caitlin Clark's $27 million Nike contract. However, it wasn't just one athlete making money. It was an unmistakable, loud declaration. The days of undervaluing women's sports are almost over. No matter how well-liked they are, how crowded the stadiums are, or how viral their highlights are, elite female athletes have long been disregarded and earn a small portion of what their male counterparts do. For far too long, there has been a double standard. That discussion was altered by Caitlin's unparalleled shooting range, record-breaking performances, and capacity to attract millions of spectators. However, this agreement radically rewrites the rules. Nike did more than simply give a budding star money. They gave Caitlin a unique item. An 8-year agreement, a signature shoe under development, and a prominent position in the company's international marketing initiatives. For a long time, this type of maneuver has only been used by all-time greats, who are mostly men. However, the world is finally paying attention to a woman who is at the center of the sports marketing universe. The agreement shows that major companies no longer view women's basketball as an afterthought. It appears to them as the headline of the front page. Nike has demonstrated that women's sports are more than merely deserving of attention with this commitment. They deserve to be in charge. However, the agreement has raised further in-depth concerns. Caitlin's annual WNBA pay of $76,000 is less than what some NBA bench players earn in a single week. That figure is dwarfed by her Nike deal. It is difficult to overlook the contrast. It has rekindled discussions about how female athletes are compensated by their leagues as well as by sponsors. Analysts, fans, and critics are calling for explanations. In comparison to her male contemporaries, why should a player who sets records and transforms the game get pennies? Why does it take a shoe deal to acknowledge a woman's value on a large scale? Experts in the sports industry concur. Caitlin's Nike contract marks a turning moment. It sets a higher standard for all upcoming female athletes who are negotiating contracts. It goes beyond what she has earned. It has to do with what she stands for. She also has a lot to symbolize. Caitlin is more than simply a basketball player. She has turned into a symbol. She has broken down barriers between casual viewers and ardent basketball fans with her crossover appeal. Kids look up to her, companies want to be like her, and the media can't stop talking about her. And even before it is out, that iconic sneaker is already making a difference. Boys have worn Jordans, Kobe's, or LeBron James jerseys for decades in hopes of becoming successful. Girls will now at last have a shoe with a name and style that resonates with them, made for them, and inspired by someone who resembles them. That goes beyond style. It's an indication that you belong. Caitlin's contract has significant weight even in the absence of royalties or ownership. It demonstrates Nike's commitment to her quest over the long run rather than just a short-term publicity stunt. Her impact is expected to go much beyond the court thanks to her Olympic performances and international advertising. However, many contend that this is just the start. Expect to see new kinds of agreements, such as ones with profit sharing, equity, and deeper collaborations, as women's sports continue to gain popularity and generate real money. Caitlin's agreement may serve as the model or the initial version of something even more innovative. And for every little girl dribbling on her driveway, this is evidence that males are no longer the only ones who have aspirations of playing sports. They may now grow up with the name of someone who earned it, just as they will. Moment by moment, game by game, shot by shot. Caitlin Clark didn't require a lengthy speech. Hype wasn't necessary for her. The world watched as she just played. It is no longer an issue of whether she fits in. It's the next thing she will alter. This brings us to Caitlin Clark's prior interactions with LeBron. Situations that caused people to question what actually went on behind the scenes and raised eyebrows. Remain confined. How LeBron influenced Caitlin Clark's ascent prior to the Nike agreement. LeBron James had been praising Caitlin Clark behind the scenes long before he took the floor to surprise her with a $27 million Nike contract. Many people are unaware that LeBron has been closely observing Caitlin's ascent, not only as a lover of the sport but also as someone who understands what it's like to carry an entire league on your back. Caitlin Clark has not only joined the WNBA in recent months, but she has fundamentally altered its course. With her debut, women's basketball became more popular than ever and made headlines. Records for viewership were broken, and ticket sales surged. Women's basketball was now more than simply a spectator sport. It was being observed, discussed, and honored more than ever. LeBron took notice. The whole basketball community leans in when LeBron talks. Additionally, his remarks against Caitlin Clark were taken seriously. He has been one of her most subdued and reliable supporters behind the spotlight of cameras and viral moments. LeBron has frequently cited Caitlin as the catalyst for the WNBA's cultural transformation in interviews, private locker room conversations, and even all-star press conferences. He has referred to her as a game share, not just because of the way she throws out impossible assists and shoots from half court, but also because of the way she is ushering in a new golden age for women's sports. LeBron, however, went beyond compliments. He gave counsel that was far more intimate. From a man who was in the public eye for 20 years, every word was important. He cautioned Caitlin about the cost of celebrity. Consider how any sound clip, tweet, or interview may be turned into something unpleasant. He has experienced it. Seeing how the world can elevate you one moment and then criticize every action you take the next. LeBron's advice was a shield from someone who has been there, done that, and yet leads with dignity in a time when a single remark can incite fury. LeBron's appreciation for Caitlin's efforts to transform the basketball industry was one of the things that most caught